gentlemen, and welcome to another fantastic weekend of Formula One racing here on the EGL Extreme Gaming League. I'm Tipsy Bob, and joining me on the mic is my trusty sidekick and my good friend, Dad Bats. Covering all the action today, we're going to be covering everywhere from Monaco, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, all across the world, all across the country. We have a full grid lined up, some of the best talent around the world. We have plucked them from all corners of the earth to give you some of the greatest racing experience viewing footage you'll ever see in your lifetime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGL. We go once and all. The cars are all lining up on the grid. They're all getting ready. The drivers will be focusing on their first corner. Are they going to take it? What are they going to do? Is it going to go deep? Are they going to go? Who knows? Let's take it out. Away we go! DRS is still active, and if Timo wants to get this moved on, he's gonna need to use this DRS zone because I have a feeling. Oh no, Timo, cancel the crusher in the crusher zone. My friends command up another overtake on 23 frame mark. This is Ryan 3
and Timo are oh, it's the pit. Oh no! Oh my god, this so sorry, control myself. So Timo
I wouldn't be going to penalty too, so they can stand at the back together again, just like Timo likes it.
how many times did you see how many times Timo tried to get into the pit?
Zolt.
How about now? I tried something. I haven't tried it before.
Oh,
Does
no.
it work? Are we alive?
I think we've got volume. I think we've got volume now.
Are we? What a weird thing. Well, you didn't hear an intro, you didn't hear anything that we were saying. So,
Okay, so starting from scratch.
welcome to Tier 2, and the very unusual start to the stream. I don't really know why there wasn't any audio. Everything was normal. But I've managed to fix it. But we're back anyway. Jason on Paul, if you've been watching, you'll just seen. But you finally have some voices to give you some more information. It looks like Adam has put himself up into P4 while we were sorting out the audio, and Sonny put himself in P5. What looks like on the medium tyres. Joel now takes that P5 from him, but Sonny looking pretty quick on those tyres.
That is a very, very impressive lap on the mediums. Definitely, yes.
Keep pressing escape instead of F1. As Jonah sets the fastest lap of the session, the reserve in the Mercedes, he proving that he deserves a full-time seat in this Grand Prix, and he takes provisional pole position with a 1 minute 8.443. So well done to Jonah, getting himself ahead of some of the full-time drivers. We haven't really seen a representation from the legend yet. We know he's now running no assist, but we saw last week he hadn't lost any of his pace, and he's behind Adam right now, and these two collided last time out. So,
Well, ordinarily we would have expected to see Legend fighting for the pole there, I think, but so I think definitely turning the line off has kind of affected his confidence a little bit, but he is definitely still quick with a 9.5. But Jonah, as we saw yesterday in Tier 3, he's definitely got the pace. He did the first challenge in Tier 3 yesterday. Very, very impressive drive from him.
yeah, as Ron slots himself into P3, Jonah will be a one to watch, but these Tier 2 drivers are obviously faster than the Tier 3 ones, so it won't be too easy for him. No one really coming to the end of their lap. I'll try and find someone that is. There's a Renault coming to the end of their lap. I believe that's Vinny. You know he's about to start one. There's a Red Bull. That'll be Sonny. Is he gonna? He comes in at the pit lane. There's a McLaren, and he comes in the pit lane. So there's a Haas of Jason. Is he gonna set a lap? He is setting a lap. He's gonna try and retake pole. He hits the wall of champions on the exit, but he runs up to the line and he takes pole back from Jonah.
Oh, he still doesn't even hitting the wall of champions. That is impressive. He must have really put a lap together beforehand. You do lose quite a bit of time hitting that wall in that last sector, and it's very important to get a good run through that last chicane on this track.
Yeah, McKenna slots in behind Jonah, 5 thousandths away, so McKenna showing that he is there. He's just reminding them that he has a basic challenge at the front. McKenna's had some very bad luck this season. The safety car restart at Spain, and where he's fighting for the win and looked like he could take it, but obviously that went down in flames after the leader had to brake because the game told him to, and that caused a mass collision. But hopefully this will turn up for him. He's there, so I think it can. Vinny puts himself in P5 in the Renault. The other reserves, so there's 2 reserves in the top 5, which is a good representation of what we expect.
Yeah, very, very well done from them, staking a claim for a permanent seat, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Fox is on his lap now. He comes around the hairpin in his Red Bull, losing the rear. Is it going to help him on his adventures to get inside the top 10?
That's definitely going to cost him a big time on down that straight. He might just abandon it. He doesn't seem to be
he's
pushing
lowered,
it.
He's lowered the ERS. He will be abandoning the
Yeah, he's straight into the pit.
Into the pits he goes.
Satoshi comes back into the pits as well without setting a lap. Again, he must have invalidated.
Adam losing the rear and almost hitting the wall, but keeps it clean as he's 2 times up on his 1 minute 8.9, so that'll put him ahead of Vinny. A lock up into the hairpin won't help. He gets a decent exit though by the looks of it, so can he get himself near the likes of Ron, McKenna and Jonah?
And chicane's all important for the lap times, I think. It's important to try to get the inside of that right hand kind of thing, try and take as much of the right hand curve as possible so that you don't invalidate on the left.
And he slots himself just behind them. Very close.
Very nice done. Very well improved. He's nearly 5/10 up on his previous lap. Very well done.
Yeah, must have done a really nice chicane on that lap. Pemi's on his lap. Legend puts himself into P6 as all the fast drivers are getting closer together. All within around 3/10 of each other at the most.
Very, very tight at the top here, isn't it? It's is it 2/10 separate the top 5?
Yeah, just about. So I think we're in for a good one, especially with some rain mixed in.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always been very tight, and there's going to be some close races. Hopefully, I don't want to wish it on anybody, but we like to see incidents because it makes things interesting. But I'm not really wishing that on anybody in particular. But it could be an interesting race. An interesting race indeed.
I was wishing for something to happen at Monaco. Me and Davo were just sort of sat there waiting for something to happen. No one was close to anyone. As Jonah gets out the way for Ron, who's in on his lap in P5. He'll be wanting to improve on his 1 minute 8.5. As he comes on the third chicane of 4 at the Canada circuit. Very, very nicely. Is he up? He is by about a 10th, well, about 2 tenths. So this could be a challenge.
Ocean Chief comes into the hairpin. He's 7/10 up on his previous time.
So that's going to put him right up there with the likes of
So
2 Renaults.
He could be mixing things up a bit here if he gets this last chicane correct.
Gets a nice run out of the last chicane.
Yes.
Is it going to be
Very,
provisional
very nice
pole?
run.
It's provisional pole from Ron. And
Ocean Chief improves 6/10 up,
9,
but it doesn't
6.
really change things for him. He's still at the in the P15.
Yeah, so unlucky for Chief. I'm sure he'll want to improve on that. Obviously, he's a race winner. And on this
Wimpy's
game,
the next driver to cross the line at the moment. I know he's had some poor luck this season. Hoping he can prove that he's got the pace. He definitely has the pace. I've seen it. Let's see what he does when he comes across the line. A 9.2. He's up 1.7 seconds on his previous time, but it only gains him 1-2 position. And he goes very, very wide in the first corner afterwards.
I don't think when we're going that wide, it won't make you go too much faster.
I think maybe he was just trying to keep out of people's way, possibly, but...
Yeah. 14 turns of this kind of circuit, difficult to navigate. It's first.
Galileo could be on a lap here. I'm not sure if he's up on his time or not, but 8.9 from the last lap. He could push some people out the top 10. Nope, he's abandoned.
Fox is on his lap though, on the Red Bull behind. He does a very nice final chicane, run up to the line, and it's a
109.3.
So a second separates first to 16th. So it's a pretty
Very, very, very tight grid, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. I think if you're about where Joel is and you do a 10th improvement, you're boosting yourself all the way up into P8. So
I know. Look at all the people who have done a 9-second flat.
yeah, that is 1, 2,
It's a
3,
very, very
4
tight
people.
grid.
And same with an 8-4, 4 people doing that time as well. So very, very tight with everyone. And no one really on a lap. Satoshi looks like he's just started one in his Haas.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much time's actually left, because we do sometimes get this bug, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Jonah's just crossed the line. Did an 8.44 An
I think-
8.444 he did there, so he was
Oh.
1,000th down on his time. He doesn't improve.
Satoshi is 20 hundredths down this time, so we want to improve on that through the middle sector. Oh no, he's not! He's in the wall!
Oh, that's very unfortunate. I just caught the tail end of that.
Looks like he just took a
And he
bit too-
abandons the lap.
Just like he's taken too much curve and not sent him. Into the
Jason just
barrier.
starts his lap. Let's see if we can find anybody finish. Sonny's just finishing his
What-
lap
what
at the
Legend-
moment. Let's
le-
see what he can
okay.
pull.
Legend just went straight on at the hairpin, so he's obviously not too happy with something. And Joel, like I said, he improved by a
know.
10th and he's in a P8.
Sonny's just starting his lap. He's not finishing.
I'm just trying to find someone. It is Galileo is on his outlap. Rosbart, he is on. just
Jonah's
south.
going again. He's trying again. By the looks of things, he's trying to set another lap immediately after the first, and he does it. He takes provisional pole
Oh.
with a 108.25,
Yeah,
On-
he's
and he's done that. He's done that on his second fast
Jason
lap,
is
I think,
two-
unless
2.5 temps up. So this could be provisional pole once again for Jason for the second time in this session. It's the run up to the line now.
3 tenths
Will
up
he
now.
get?
Yes,
He is in a
he's
1
got a
minute
108
dead.
flat. What a lap! What a lap from Jason. Very, very close to getting into the 107s. Very, very impressive lap.
Yeah, I think we'll be very lucky to see anyone getting close to that lap time. Adam was up by a bit through the first sector. He's coming through the middle now.
He's up very, very slightly by.
Oh, he's invalidated.
He's invalidated. That's
So
unfortunate.
he backs
Very,
up.
very easy to do around Canada.
Yeah. So there's a group of cars coming to finish their lap now. Nick Rosbach pulls into the pit lane. There's a Mercedes of Jonah who's just going to cross the line, I think. Chief has invalidated at the final chicane.
Oh,
What
that's
would-
very
What would the
unfortunate.
time be? It would have been a 9.2, so he would have improved.
As Vinny gains himself 2 places with that.
Jonah improved again.
And Galileo, let's see what he can do as he crosses the line.
Oh, I pressed the wrong
He
button.
doesn't. He improves by 2 tenths, but he doesn't gain a position. But that is on the mediums that he's qualified on there, and he's done a 108.9 on mediums.
Yeah, it's,
That is an incredible lap.
and I think that
Um,
is our qualifying session. No one else is out on circuit to do a lap.
I'm wondering if that might be a stroke of genius from Galileo. If we have a wet start, he's going to be starting on the intermediates or the wets, and then he only has to use the mediums. Is that right?
I think
Or
if
does
you
it not
s-
matter which tyres?
I think if you start on the wet tire, you can use any tire to go at the end. So
Go at the end too? Because I was wondering maybe if it was a case that he needed to then use the mediums that he qualified on, he might be in a great position in the race, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
But obviously, if that's not the case, that's not the case.
That's not the case. But Jason tops the qualifying session. He is P1 in the Haas. Jonah on his debut into Tier 2 is in P2. Very close to the Haas driver. We got Ron in third. Makenda, Adam, Satoshi, Vinny, Legend, Joel, and Sonny is our top 10. So they'll be looking to score some points today. Galileo just outside. He can taste the points in today's race.
Just look how tight this field is. I mean, there's less than a second between the top 14 drivers here. Very, very competitive, this Tier 2 league this season. Definitely very competitive.
Yeah, I think we're in for a good run. As I'll bring up the standings for you now. That's the correct hotkey. The standings should be up on your screen, and that is how it looks.
Legend leading at the moment. He's been having a very impressive season so far, but as was mentioned earlier, he has been slowly moving assists as we go, so things are becoming more difficult for him as the season goes on. And we've got a new contender by the looks of things today in Jonah, who's racing as a reserve, I believe, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So no points will count until he becomes a full-time driver. Nikolaitis is not here today, so the main rival for Legend is Makenda, as Larson has rejoined the session. We'll come back to race live, and as you can see, it is very, very wet. Full wet conditions for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix.
Indeed, yes. I'm not sure whether or not it's going to need full wets for this or intermediates. What do you think?
I think it's full wet. We might see a convert.
It
Yeah,
is
but
full
it's
wet
full
from most
wet.
tyres, yeah.
I don't think anyone will have gone for the intermediate, and that is right.
So we have the hardest lap of the race underway.
The formation lap.
As something's going on at the back, someone was very slow on the uptake, a McLaren, a Williams, sorry, it's Larson. But everything's
Oh
sorted
my, it's
itself out.
disqualified. 3 people disqualified on the formation lap, so...
That's not good. First braking zone proves difficult in the wet. This
so people just
hopefully
need to
isn't a sign of things to come.
People just need to get a feel for the conditions as they go around the circuit. They want to warm up those wet tyres as well, but not too much, otherwise you won't have any grip on the start.
Yeah, the question is, how long is this rain going to last, and have people gone with a wet setup or a dry setup? Because it's very, very difficult to drive here with a dry setup, as I can attest to. I did a wet qualifying and with a dry setup. It was incredibly twitchy, very difficult to control the car. So if that's the case, we could be seeing a lot of incidents in the first stint with the rain.
Well, the predicted pit stop strategy is, well, wet. I think, as we know, it's going to dry up during the race. These drivers will be tasked with a very difficult race, so I hope they can all get through it and provide us some action. I think I did a full wet race all the way back in F1 2016, but that was difficult in itself.
Toshi, for some reason, is currently at the very, very back of the grid, even though he's in 6th place. So
I think he might have spun out on the formation lap.
Something may have happened there. That I'm not entirely sure how much the temperature of the tyres is going to matter at this start, considering it's going to be a very, very tentative start, I think, from most of these drivers.
Yeah.
So, do you want to take the start, and I'll have a look at the back?
Yeah, sure. As they all get lined up on the grid. Now we've got to wait for that Haas to come all the way through and get lined up on this grid spot in P6, but it looks like we're going to get underway for the very wet Canadian Grand Prix here at Montreal, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. As we prepare now, it's green flags all around. SLR Larson leading the way. According to the game, it's not lights out quite yet. The drivers are revving up now, as you can see at the speedometer, and it's lights out, and away we go. Looks like a decent start by Ayerson, but Jonah's got the upper hand as they come into the outside of turn 1. The McLaren of Ronix is trying to defend from McKenda as they all make their way down to turn 2 very slowly. Position changes happening all through the grid. The McLaren and the AlphaTauri going side by side, going in the first.
All very clean so far.
Yeah,
a couple of bumps and a couple of position changes, but all very clean so far. No major incident.
As the AlphaTauri take into the grass, as I believe there's 2 drivers going side by side. The Renault having a look on the Haas now, up the inside, and
bit of contact there. Oh, very
squeezing.
Very tense moments for Legend there.
But he gets away unscathed. As there's blue flags showing around the circuit. I don't think anyone's getting lapped just yet, but Jonah and Ayerson are away with a 1 second gap.
I think that may have something to... Sorry.
There's Mercedes skipping over the escape road, and he's now going side by side with an AlphaTauri, and it almost looks like he went to the back of him. As we go further down the field, it all looks pretty clean so far. Wimpy. Oh, we got a heat around at the hairpin, but he manages to save it. I don't think there's any wing damage, so that's fortunate for him.
That could have been a lot worse than it was.
But yeah,
a clean first lap from everybody so far. Some big gaps starting to appear though already, as we get to see who's comfortable with the wet conditions and who isn't.
Yeah, it was Joel's going side by side with Sonny for the final points paying position, and Joel has got the move done up into P10. So the driver's showcasing how difficult it is to drive, and we've already got 1 casualty on the first lap, which is the Red Bull of Fox. So I'm very impressed really, these drivers keeping it very clean, and that was some carbon fibre flying out of the second chicane.
Fox in the pits. I'm not sure, he must have had some damage there. I didn't see if he got a wing change, but he must have had some damage.
He was involved in the heat half spin, so I believe he might have just hit him around.
Yeah.
But there, Nico Rosberg and is in the train with Sonny Pemi Polar Hayes, so they're fighting for around the last points paying position. But the top two is got a bit of a gap. Jason not messing around. He is leading the race by quite a gap currently.
Yep,
Legend.
Jason's got himself a very good start to this race.
Legend's
but
gonna
I
have
think
a go on Adam maybe. He's got the slipstream, but he's not opting for overtake, so he's not gonna go for the move. So these drivers driving very conservatively in the
wet. Yes,
Sonny and Joel though. Oh, it was Joel's front wing that went flying. Joel has got a missing end plate and he pulls into the pit lane. So that would explain why he hasn't really been able to pull away from the Red Bull. And
so as clean as it is so far, we have had a couple of drivers succumb to the conditions at the moment. Just have little minor incidents, which is obviously costing them big. But looking at Icewind at the moment, he's already up in P14 from last place. That's a good start from him.
yeah, Icewind being a tier 1 driver, it's the least you can expect. I think he dropped down to reserve recently, but yeah, I think it's good to see someone of this caliber making their way up the grid. Front wing fully intact, so it's nice to see. As Adam and Legend battling side by side into the third chicane. Very close between the two. They don't make contact though, so amazing driving.
Very nice racing there. Well done to Legend to get that move done there in these conditions.
Adam's having a look on the inside.
Very deep on the.
It was just a look by Adam, but that's enough to spook Legend.
Still.
And as a run on board of Adam, and it doesn't look like anyone's gonna come of it. 4 seconds separates fourth from third. Legend. Oh, that's a bit of a late. That's a bit of a late manoeuvre by Ron, moving just before
very late out there, but it's hard racing from Ron, so I would say. But we'll leave it to the FIA to say
Legend's up the inside,
any more than that. But he's up the inside now on this corner. It's very difficult to get the move done because you're outside on the outside. But doesn't get it done at the moment, like. But Bronx is a bit twitchy. Traction very difficult in these conditions, and these drivers are giving it everything. As Bronx hits the wall.
That was big hits by both the drivers.
And
but
this could leave it open for Legend here. He's going to have another go. He's locked up a bit.
And
he's got it done by pushing him wide, but a fair move, but a hard one, I would say.
Yeah,
very good racing from these drivers, though. Very good racing to keep it clean.
Ron has got damage to his front wing. After that hit, Legend's gone straight on at the chicane. So Ron gets a time penalty in the meantime, but I think Legend would have got a warning for that. So that's not great
Almost
for
definitely,
the
yeah.
driver. As everyone's sort of
it's all settling down a little bit now after that little bit of action from Legend there. Not much else going on elsewhere, but Sonny's still close on the back of Vinny. I'm wondering if he can make something happen. No, it looks like he's getting away from him. He's not going to be close enough to make a move. Vinny just gets the better exit.
Yeah, DRS not really, not in effect due to the wet conditions. Satoshi losing the exit of the wall.
Pemi's very close on the back of Sonny now as well. Things have starting to concertina in this train near the back.
Sonny is holding on to that points position very well. He's not quite within. He's just within a second. Has something happened to Ron? Oh, Ron is in the grass. He loses the rear, but I think that's more wing damage.
He's struggling. He's losing a lot of places there for that as well.
We've got a yellow in sector 1. That's a Renault. That's a Renault. Vinny is around, and he has got no front wing on that Renault, as he's going to try and make his way back to the pit lane. So
as we're starting to see, some of the drivers are getting a little bit more confident in the conditions, and they start to push a bit more as they're coming under pressure, and it results in mistakes, unfortunately, doesn't it?
Yeah. Galileo getting very close to the back of the Haas car. That could have been a spin or maybe some wing damage,
and
but
he's got a better exit here by the looks of things than Satoshi, but will he be able to get it done? The conditions are very treacherous at the moment to try and make moves into chicanes.
He's took it out of overtake.
I don't think he's got the speed.
Yeah, he took that out of overtake, didn't really want to risk getting the move done at the hairpin. If it goes wrong, it is might be curtains for your race. Safety cars will come out though if there is some collision, so if you do get in a collision, it might not be race over completely for you. As Vinny gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, that's salt into the wounds for Vinny, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. I know that feeling. It happened to me yesterday.
Galileo is really looking to get past Satoshi. Trying to lead the McLaren team after Ron has had some front wing issues. Everyone keeping it clean, considering the conditions. I mean, I think most mistakes.
I am very impressed considering the conditions. People are racing very hard and still managing to hold it together for the most part. But as we've seen there from Joel, Fox and Vinny, people are succumbing to problems and other people are going to be able to take advantage of those.
Oh, Ron going back on the inside, that's around!
On the inside, and runs around again.
Half spin for the McLaren driver, and that's going to lose him a bunch of positions as
more positions there, yeah. I think there was
he's in the wall again! And he's in the wall again! Twice in the wall in one straight. We got that's the element sector 3, and there was some front wing McLaren carbon fibre flying across the circuit.
He's surely got a pit now as well.
Yeah, he pulls into the pit lane, and he's double lock up into the pit lane, and but unfortunately doesn't speed. Icewind and Rosbot battling right now, and that's Icewind up into P11 from the back of the grid. So he's one position out of those points.
Icewind's styling on them at the moment. He's looking to show Jonah that Jonah's not the only one that can do a last to first. But he's still got a long way to go in these conditions. It's very difficult.
Yeah, Vinny picks up 3
seconds. Icewind slowly making his way up the field.
We have got some drivers pitting for the intermediate tyre. Ocean Chief, Joel and Fox all boxing for those intermediates, the green wall tyre.
And it could be a mistake. I'm not sure if the track's maybe the line is dry enough for these, but it doesn't seem as though Ocean's struggling too badly as he comes out of the pit.
We'll see what Icewind does at the end of this lap. Jeff might have given the call, and it's he doesn't pit. Is Jonah pits?
Jonah pit.
Jonah,
and
Makenda
pit
and Legend. They're all coming in. So the pit lane is going to have a lot of action in lap 8 of this Grand Prix, as they all box for the intermediate tyre. Jonah's been held in the pits by Legend by the looks of it, but the ghosting system in this game allows that to happen.
That's unfortunate for Jonah.
And yeah, as they all strapping on the
as everybody dives into the pit
it's
now.
Everybody's and Adam and Satoshi that aren't pitting. So everyone in that pit lane, and Ron will be kicking himself after just putting on a fresh set of wet tyres. He is now gonna have to box again for intermediates.
Yeah. It's not Ron's race. He was looking very good at the beginning. He had a very good qualifying. He was up in the mix with the top drivers there, but it's all gone wrong for him this afternoon.
Yep. But if these intermediate tyres are right for the conditions, we might see a change in lead here.
It's very possible that Jason could have made a mistake not going in, but as he was the lead driver, he didn't know what everybody else behind him what he was going to do, so he had the disadvantage there.
Yep.
But he's almost certainly going to come in at the pits now, and he's with 13 seconds advantage. He very might just come out ahead still.
Well, I'm going to run on board of him as we follow him through the pit lane. Jonah is still looking to get behind. Oh, get in front. Final chicane is Jonah now. So this is going to be tight, I think. Like
it is going to be very tight, I think. And
Jonah's
this
battling with some
pit exit can be dangerous if you don't yield.
Who's
but it looks like Jonah's going to get it, I think. Jonah's...
oh, no, he's not quite going to get it. Jason comes out back in front. And
comes flying out of the pit lane exit there, right in front of Jonah. But Jonah definitely seems to have made up a couple of tenths, at least half a tenth maybe, on the time. Yeah. As Icewind gets a penalty.
Oh, so that could damage his chances of trying to get a podium or even a win today. And Jonah will be kicking himself that he just couldn't go that little bit faster throughout the lap, because that could have been the lead for him. But Jason's going to be held up by Adam here, who's still on the wet compound tyre.
Yes. Vinny as well just pits now, just for the intermediates as well, so he's now back at the grid.
But
it seems as though pitting early for the intermediates was the call, and only Jason seems to have gotten away with it.
Oh no, that was way too close. On the grass is Jonah trying to get past the Alfa Romeo. Jason almost squeezed Adam into the wall. So, and it looks like Adam's gonna have to defend from Jonah coming in the first corner, but he pits anyway as expected.
Yes, as I expected him to do that. So I was just there, but that pit entry can be quite dangerous if you brake a little too early. If you're going into the pits, you can end up brake checking the person behind you. It's happened to me. So anything can happen in these conditions
Galileo
as well.
has disconnected from the session. I'll try and invite him back in. If I can find him, I'm flicking through this very quickly.
There now seems to be a bit of a gap forming between Jonah and McKenna now, so it looks as though it's going to be could be a straight battle between Jonah and Jason for the win. But if safety cars and if track dries out or the safety cars and things like that, I think anything can happen.
Yeah, we just don't know if he's running a wet or dry setup. I think Jason could be on a dry setup and Jonah could be on a wet one. You just don't know.
Satoshi picks up a 3-second time penalty there as well, as he was trying to make his way through the ghosted car of Galileo, who's DC'd. It's unfortunate for him that he's lost the place, but
11 seconds from Legend to Satoshi, so I don't think there'll be any threat from them unless there's a safety car as they come down the main straight. Jonah setting the fastest lap of the race, so looks like Jason had the upper hand, but Legend says no to that and wants his fastest lap back. But it looks like Jonah's got the upper hand. We have a yellow. Is that a retirement? It's Ron who's in the wall. Looks like he's got no front.
Oh no, it's Ron again. Yeah, looks like he's. I can't get a decent camera angle here.
He's lost a lot of front.
There we go. It doesn't actually show as though he's lost anything on mine.
Oh, it might
it looks
spun.
okay.
It might just spun. Looked like he might have, but.
It looks intact to me. I mean, that may be a bug. We know what the game's like.
Yeah. The AlphaTauri of McKenna and the Renault of Legend are closing in on these top two. So it just doesn't look like Jason has the same pace on these intermediates than what he did at the wets. Icewind on that last lap did set the fastest lap of the race, so he is. Icewind, don't discount him.
Should maybe take some time to mention Polar Haze at the moment, who's up 11 positions.
That's a Williams. It's Larson who's around, and he is going to drop down a couple of positions, 3 positions, down to 17.
May have just lost it into that the second chicane before the DRS straight.
Yeah, and Legends through on gonna have a go at McKenna. He was through momentarily as they both going side by side now.
It looks like he's got the move done. Yes, this is a very impressive drive from Legend as well.
Yeah.
He's cutting his way through the field in these conditions.
Yeah, he's been very quiet for the majority of the race, but he is here. Fighting for the win now. And
yeah, I think definitely going to be pushing to catch up with Jonah and Jason now. Already within a second of Jonah.
Yeah, can you check penalties between these 4 drivers? I'm just wondering because I haven't seen any pop up on screen. I think there
certainly
might
can, yes.
So
Jason doesn't have any warnings at all. Very impressive from him. Jonah has 2 warnings, and Legend has 2 warnings. So no penalties for the top 3 at the moment. McKenna has a penalty and a warning. So
okay, so that might not be good for McKenna. Vinny's around, Legend's teammate at the second corner, but he's got going again now, so it looks to be all good. But Jason has pulled up a little bit of a gap now, 1.2 seconds. I'm gonna go and put the position changes on screen. Polar Haze gaining 11 positions, Icewind gaining 10. So it's good races by those two so far. Ron losing 16 positions. That's the biggest loser out of this race so far.
Yeah, it's been a horrid race for Ronks, unfortunately. Just things haven't gone his way. Vinny as well, not having a great time out with the conditions, maybe.
There's a good little fight for P14 right now between the two Williams and the two Racing Points. They're battling away.
There's a little 3-car train going on here, yeah. Which obviously came about because Larson had the mistake that he was ahead of these beforehand, so he's still hanging on at the back of them, but a nice little 4-car train here.
Yeah, Chief picks up a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to help him.
And as we've mentioned many times before, the time penalties here in this track, very, very difficult to avoid, and that's just exacerbated massively by the conditions, because the rain doesn't seem to be letting up, so I don't think we're going to be going to dries anytime soon.
Sport and Polar Hayes going side by side, coming down the back straight. They're going to come into the final chicane side by side. I don't know. Nico Rosbot backs over.
It's like Nico Rosbot thinks better to try it into the chicane.
Yeah, but that might put him under pressure from Icewind, and it is. Icewind's going to go onto the inside line for turn 1, and it looks like he's got that move done. He does.
That's showing his experience there, waiting for the move ahead and just picking up the pieces. Very nicely done from Icewind there. Polar Haze, again, but him and Icewind started 19th and 20th. What a race these two are having now, well into the point.
Yeah, it's good to see. As the top 3 are getting closer together. We're going to see a 3-way fight for the win as we approach the half distance point of the race. The half distance being around lap 17 at the end of sector 2.
It looks as though McCann is quickly falling off the back of these 3, and that he just doesn't seem to have the pace in these conditions to keep on.
Yep, as he opens, he unleashes overtake a bit there, does Legend, to try and get...
Definitely looking to try and get past Jonah as soon as he can. I think he's thinking that he's the one that needs to take the fight to Jason. But Jason at the moment sitting with 76%.
Vinny has retired in the safety car.
Oh, safety car. Vinny at the back, what's happened there?
It looks
He's
like
in
he's
the
just lost the rear and hit the
chicane.
wall.
He looks like he's in. He's pointing backwards. He must have planted the foot too early there and lost it on the traction around the right-hand side there. If you're in these conditions in the wet, it's very difficult to plant your foot and give it the full beams through that corner. But you have to try in order to keep the pace. And it just looks like he's misjudged that one, and unfortunately for him, that's his race over.
Yeah.
But let's see how this affects the field. Is anybody going to pit here, or are they going to stay out in the mediums? I wonder.
Let's see. I think it's not time for dries yet at all, so we won't. I don't think we'll see.
I'm not entirely sure how long the intermediates last, though. So
I think I would say half the race. I don't think it's worth paying. So I don't think we'll see any drivers coming in at the end of this lap from the top. I might be completely wrong though.
Keith took advantage of it, and so did Joel.
Jonah is.
To pit.
Jonah's gonna
Jonah
take
pits
advantage
as well,
of that.
but Jason and Legend don't. So is that a big mistake from Jonah? I wonder.
Well, he's gonna come out behind Makenda. I don't really think he'll come out behind Satoshi. So I don't think he's not gonna lose that much. So I don't think it's that bad to take that risk if the opportunity is there. Because he wants to win this race. So I think if you want to do that, you got to take some risks.
Definitely a few drivers electing to go for the pit stop and get the fresh intermediates. Hoping that that's going to give them some extra pace, I suppose, until the next until it dries out. Because I think the plan is that it's going to dry out.
Yeah.
But
I think it just shows how much harder it is to overtake cars in the wet than compared to dry. No DRS is enabled, of course, so we don't get that extra.
Means that your use of the overtake in your fuel becomes much more important.
Oh yeah, I think most drivers will be saving fuel in the overtake.
But with the safety car, obviously everybody's now going to get full recharge. Everybody's pretty much at 100% already. So the restart could throw some interesting
Could throw some caution to
incidents
the
our
wind.
way.
Yeah.
Jason is getting very sideways as he's trying to warm the tyres.
Don't think you need to warm the tyres up that much. It's a bit
I mean,
extreme.
still a couple of laps to go before the safety car comes in anyway. So,
Yeah, it's, I know.
because I mean, Ronks at the back is quite a way back. He's a whole minute and 19 seconds behind the leader.
Whoa. Well,
Has not been Ronks' day, has it? Unfortunately for him, I'm sure this is a race that he's going to want to forget.
yeah.
But anything still can happen at the moment with the safety car, because he should be right on the back of the grid when it restarts. And as conditions change and things and other incidents happen, he could be on for a recovery drive still. We know he's quick. We know he can get past people. So
Yeah, and his teammate we saw he was ahead of his teammate. He started P4. He has that pace. He knows he has this pace to get himself back up into the points paying positions. And I think if you see it, I think if he does come somewhere in the top 5, I think that'll be my driver of the day. Just from how it happened. Jason still leading the way, but we do have that threat from Jonah. We know how dangerous fresh intermediates can be to people who are on a bit older, as we've seen on previous games.
yeah, I expect Jonah's going to make short work of McKenda, but whether or not he can then challenge Legends is another matter, because Legends a different breed, should we say?
Yeah.
From what I've seen of Legends driving in the past, he's a very quick, very fair driver, but he's also a very hard racer. He's much like Keyboard Magnussen in that he's very, very aggressive with his defence.
Yeah. Ron books up a 3-second penalty under the safety car. He's trying to catch the drivers back up as we have passed the halfway point of the race.
No, Ronks, no, not like this. I think it's possible that he's starting to get a bit too frustrated with the way things have gone in the race, and it's happened to me before. I've been there, and it just compounds the errors at that stage, and I feel for the guy at this stage, I really do.
Yeah, the game has told us if you want to go onto the intermediate tyres to run to the end, but I'm going to be honest, there's no more rain falling down. If I run aboard obvious,
So,
there's no
yeah,
more rain.
Yeah, there's definitely stopped the rain, so the track does dry very quickly. So the people who have pitted for intermediates may have. It's not going to really affect things too much, but it's not long after the safety car. It's going to dry out very quickly, and those changing conditions with a tight grid could mean that people are very different, have very different paces as the conditions change, and a lot of things, a lot of positions could change. A lot of things could end up happening.
Yeah, anything can happen in Formula 1, and
That's why we love it.
we're definitely going to see some of that today. Jason leading the way. Yeah, I think the people that did pit, like you say, are going to be a bit annoyed at how this rain has stopped.
It's worth pointing out at this stage as well that Sonny in P6 at the moment, he's just had a very clean race, and he's gained himself a few positions from where he started, but he doesn't have any penalties. And Satoshi, I think, has at least 2. So he's could very well be up there in the mix, because I know how quick he can be in the dry as well. I know wet isn't his favourite conditions, but he's not slow in the wet.
Yeah.
But so far this race, he's just kept things very clean and tidy, and he could benefit from that come the end of the race.
Yeah, we're about to get underway now. Jason makes his way down the back straight. The safety car pulls in the pit, so it's now the leader's discretion of when he wants to set away for the field. So we'll see when he goes, and he's gone now. He's caught the field a bit off guard there, and I think it's going to be him away as we come back underway under greens at the Canadian Grand Prix, as it's green, as an iRacing engineer would say. Looks to be pretty clean. No one really going for any moves on
fairly clean restart. Yeah, everybody's aware that it's dangerous, so nobody wants to ruin anybody's race or their own.
Yeah, no one going for any moves. Legend and Jason pulling away from McKenda already.
As Legend picks up a 3-second time penalty, that could be huge come the end of the race.
Yep, that's not really what Legend would have liked at the safety car restart. There's a train behind Sonny, all within about 3/10 of each other. Polar Haze, Icewind, and Nico Rosebud, so I think they're all going to be trying to get past him as they make their way into the third chicane.
Jonah also has a 3-second time penalty now that we've missed, I think. So that spices things up and plays very much into the hands of Jason as well, who still hasn't even got a warning. Very, very impressive from him to not even get a warning this far into this race.
Whoa. As Polar Haze is going to come under pressure from Icewind, and I don't think anything's really going to come of it. As they come down into the... Oh! Polar Haze going straight on. Icewind picks up a 3-second time penalty. He would have got a bit distracted by the Mercedes going straight on at the chicane. I think Polar Haze would have got a warning for that. Nothing more. As they make their way down to turn 2. 2.3 seconds is the gap between Legend and Makenda. As Ocean Chief gets past the ghost of Galileo. Makenda picks up another 3-second time penalty. So the race is really changing as we progress through it. Lap 20 of 35.
Further down the grid, yeah, things are mixing up a little bit, kind of thing. We're seeing some people on a recovery drive. Chief, who's been near the back for much of this race, is very slowly making his way up the grid. Yeah, impressive him, and Wimpy as well, also having an impressive race today with gaining quite a few positions.
Sonny picks up a 3-second time penalty. Jonah's just got ahead of Makenda, but he's got 3 seconds to make up to catch back up to Legend. So
Icewind's very close on the back of Polar Haze again. I'm wondering if he's going to try and make a move down this straight. As he gets a bit sideways on the exit, I don't think he's going to be able to do it now.
Running on the back, Polar Haze as Jason has conceded the lead. So Jason has made a mistake.
Oh, what's happened here? Yeah,
that has allowed Legend through. So Legend is now in the lead of the race, championship leader, showing why he is leading the way.
Oh, that's very unfortunate from Jason, but Legend still does have that 3-second time penalty. So all he needs to do is stick with him, and he'll still get the race win. But if I know Jason, and I've raced with him a few times, he's not going to be happy with that. He's going to try and win on the track.
Yeah, I think though it's getting very close to dry conditions.
It is getting very, very close to dry conditions. I think if we're going to expect to start seeing people pit very soon, if not this lap, the next.
Yeah, I think we'll see. I don't know, really.
It's very dry for the front drivers, but it's still wet for some of the back drivers. For some, but
yeah, the spray.
It is. There's still a little bit of spray, but it's usually you want to kind of wait until they turn DRS on and get it to time it perfectly. And I would say that if you pit now, everybody's coming past the pit lane now. I would say now is the time to pit, in my opinion, because I think next lap
not got a good run
we're going to get DRS.
This could be Jason back in the lead of the race. As they come into turn 1 now, it's very close
Sonny is the only.
two.
Sonny decides to pit for the drives,
Sonny
and so does Nico Rosebud.
Rosebud gets a 5-second penalty between the pit lane. Wimpy's in as they all go for the medium tyres. Joel's in as well. Jonah does the fastest lap of the race. So they're all going onto the medium tyres by the looks of it.
Jonah's doing the fastest lap of the race in the intermediates as the others go on to mediums. Did I and they make the wrong call there, I wonder? I don't think so, because I think, as I say, I think the track is almost bone dry already. They're DRS enabled, yeah. So everybody who's just the 4 drivers who've pitted there have got the timing spot on.
Yeah, but, Sonny, Rosebud, Wimpy, Joel, and Galileo might just pick up a few positions. This could Sonny
particularly because he was very close to the front runner, so I'm wondering whether he can maybe jump Satoshi and possibly Makenda as well. I wonder how much time he can gain being on the drives.
I think Sonny's just made a mistake because Rosebud's just gone through. And they're going to be side by side coming into the pit lane of the 2 leaders. But Legend leads the way through.
all 4 of the top drivers pit. Satoshi stays out, interestingly. And as Adam stays out as well. That's an interesting choice. That's the second time Adam's waited for the rest of the grid to choose and gone out
Jonah's
longer.
gone onto the soft compound tyres. We've got a few drivers on the softs. We've got Jonah, Paul Lahis, and Rosbald set the fastest lap of the race on that lap. So
On the mediums and the 19, so there's definitely time for the dries, and he's making the most out of it. But Sonny's hot on his tail behind him. But Nico Rosbart definitely seems to have gotten used to the new conditions very quickly.
yeah, I think Adam and Satoshi might have messed up there. I'm pretty sure they should have come into the pit lane at the end of that lap. But we are now under dry conditions for the rest of this race.
And with DRS, things can rapidly change now, as a couple of people have gone on the softs. So Jonah's decided to go for the softs. I'm wondering what he can do with that. He's now going to be much quicker than the 2 guys in front of him. But can he make those go to the end? 12 laps, I think, is a stretch on the softs at this lap. I think 9 is difficult. So 10, 12 laps, they're going to be in puncture territory, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. As Legend locks up coming in at the final chicane. That's going to give Jason a chance, and he doesn't need a second invitation as he now
And
goes
side by
inside.
side into the first corner.
And
Sometimes
he has got the move done.
It's gone very wide there, yeah, to block him off. But yep, is Legend going to come back at him? I wonder. He is. He's going to try it down the inside. No, he's backed out.
That might be Jonah.
And Jonah now right on the back of Legend. Things are getting very spicy at the front of the grid.
Was that Jonah who just picked up another penalty? I think he just went off track.
I
There's a
think
lot of penalties being picked up in the final part.
a lot of
race.
penalties starting to be picked up now as people start to put the foot down in the dry conditions. But I'll check Jonah's penalties for you. I think yes, he did. He did get another penalty and 2 warnings.
Oh,
So
no.
Jonah is effectively out of the shot for the top spot on the podium. But with those tyres, can he create a big enough gap to hold on to the podium, I wonder?
Well, he's
Still a
gotta get past them
long way to go.
first. He's got to get past him first, though, so we'll see how that goes for him. As Legend and Jason are still battling away. Legend is...
Icewind has got past
Legend's
Polar
going to
Haze.
go on the outside of turn 1. They're looking to get through, squeeze on the yellow DHL's Pirelli sign, not a DHL sign. As they,
And Legend
takes the
squeezes
lead
him out
again.
and gets the position. But
Jason on the outside.
Jason's still coming back at him. Very good move from Jason there. How brave was
That
that?
is Jonah on the inside now of the first chicane of the circuit, the second chicane, sorry. And Jonah's in the wall. He's lost
Jonah's
a big
hit the wall.
chunk
He's
of front
lost his end
wing.
plate. Oh, that's bad news for Jonah. I think that might be
The end of
his podium over as well. That's going to cost him a lot of time over this. But some very nice racing between the 3 of them there. But doesn't look like Jonah's going to give this up. But it doesn't look like he's got a choice now. He's already dropped 4/10 through that hairpin alone. And McKenda very close to the back of Jonah now as well. Jonah very much at risk of losing out on the podium here. It is. I think this is his T2 debut, is it?
I believe so. I haven't seen him before. I might be wrong though. As the top 4 stay the same for the first time in a couple of laps.
Icewind has managed to get past Sonny as well. Icewind sets the fastest lap on the mediums.
I think the
He's really
mediums
flying at the moment.
I think the mediums are better than the softs at this point in the race. As Joel and Pemmy battling side by side there. Bit of wheel banging, but no harm done. As they battle side by side, as Adam and Wimpy behind them going side by side. Joel gets the move done with a 3-second time penalty on top of that. Wimpy lost.
I wonder if that's going to bite him come the end of the race, because now he's into the points positions. Is he going to lose it for that penalty? But as we know, penalties have been flying in thick and fast at the moment. So come the end of the race, we could see a lot of juggling of the order. Definitely.
I think the leader definitely is Jason now, so I don't think we'll have any changes in that, even if Jason does get a penalty. Is Legend going to have a go into the hairpin?
It looks like he might.
Oh, the chicane, sorry. As Jason does pick up that 3-second time
That
penalty.
could be
So
first
now,
penalty.
so now this is for position instead of a 3-second gap being need to build for Legend. This is now for the win.
Yep. So Legends 1 warning away from another penalty, and I'm not sure what's happened there then, because Jason, it says penalty plus 3 warnings, so he may only be one warning away from another
It might have been
penalty.
a collision warning plus
Ah.
3 warnings. So
Possibly. But so at the moment, both on 3-second penalties, it's all changed once again with that penalty from Jason, definitely. Nico Rosberg having a very good race at the moment. He's taking full advantage of the switch from wet to dry, and made up quite a few positions there at the expense of Satoshi Sunny Polar Haze.
Yeah, and he's now coming under pressure from Icewind, though. He's had an equally good race from the back of the grid. And Icewind could
I'm not
be
sure what's happened to Wimpy either, but he may have been caught up in an incident or had some kind of mistake as he switched to the softs.
As Icewind
Had to
gets
pit
an
some maybe some
injury.
damage for him.
Jonah gets a penalty again. I think there's going to be a move for the lead. If I can press the right button, that'd be amazing. As Legend did have a lurk. He was not quite far enough alongside though to get that done. Something happened to Joel. I think Joel's gone straight on at the chicane. He's missed 2 positions. He's got massive wing damage to that Williams car. So
that's unfortunate. He's definitely going to have to pit again with damage like that. That's possibly his race over with so little time left as he loses out to Ronks, who's on a recovery drive now. He's doing very well, up to 12th place after his early race woes. Very impressive from him.
Yes, still holding down the lead. About 8 laps to go.
Polar Haze on the softs is very close on the back of Satoshi now, and I think those softs are starting to come into it now, but by the time now that they come into it, they're going to almost immediately go off again, because I don't think even at 6-7 laps the softs aren't as quick as the medium. So I'm thinking the soft runners have definitely made a mistake here and may need to pit again for more softs.
Legend's going to go around the outside of Jason once again. Is this going to be the move for is this going to be the lead for Legend? It didn't work last time, but he's much further alongside the Haas. We've seen this before. Jason got the better of Legend previously, and he's done it again.
Yeah, very good driving from Jason. He's not giving Legend an inch here. Very good battle for the lead, and Jason isn't so far behind Legend in the championship that he can't catch, as Joel gets a 5-second penalty in the pit lane. And then he retires. Yeah, I think he knows that his race was done. He wasn't going to get points. Understandable, but I do like to see drivers stick it out till the end, and because I think it all makes a difference around the field. You know, anything can happen. I mean, look at Ronks. He could have very easily given it up after his early woes, but he's looking to fight for point positions now. Very impressive from him.
2 leaders look to be very close again. As coming down into the chicane, we're going to see some side-by-side action in the chicane for the first time, but I think Legend hasn't got a great exit. And I don't think we'll see any action on this occasion down in that corner. Icewind is trying to make some inroads on these guys. He's within 3 seconds, so he definitely could take a podium here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Icewind has some penalties of his own.
I've only seen 1 pop up for him. If I'm not mistaken.
He has 3 penalties, so it might be that we may be saying no to the 20 to first challenge for Icewind today. I don't think I can see him overtaking everybody in front of him in 5 laps and creating a 6-second gap. Oh, as McKenna gets very sideways. Oh, very well saved, though, I have to say. Very well saved.
Yeah, he's really struggling with that corner. He's done that the last couple of laps, so
I'm wondering if is that something to do maybe with his setup? I'm wondering if he's struggling with tyre wear or overheating or something.
Yeah, maybe. Jason goes defensive to the inside. Legend on the outside once again. Jason gets another penalty! So that is crucial for Legend. This could be Legend winning the race effectively.
I'll just check and see how close Legend is to another warning. Let's see what he's still one warning away from another penalty. So all Legend has to do is keep it clean behind him, and he wins the race.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty difficult though, with one warning.
The question is, does Legend know that? Or is he going to have to try and make the move thinking that he needs to win the race? They're both very even on overtake on ERS as well. So
yeah,
very interesting finale for the top four, who are all still very, very close.
yeah.
And Icewind, I have to say, has already made up quite a bit of time on the front three. So he could be coming into the mix before the end of the race.
Oh, we got a yellow. We got a yellow. It's Polar Haze.
Oh no, Polar Haze.
He's
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And he has got some wind damage. So I think he'll be pitting at the end of this lap. So
Yeah, that's
he was
he's
driving
going
a
to
good
have to pit.
race.
It looks like quite serious damage, that.
Yeah, he was having a good race set up in the P8, but he just, I think
He
just
was.
lost
He was having an excellent race from P19 up into P8, and then yeah, things just started to go a little wrong. I think he started to slip backwards.
Yeah.
But Bronx will definitely be very pleased with that, as he goes very close to the wall, but doesn't touch it,
Polar Haze for tyres as well.
using every inch of the
Legend
track
gets another
here.
penalty.
Rox,
Legend's got
he's-
another penalty. So that has changed everything
that-
for this race.
That changes everything at the front.
Once again, McKenna's going to go on Jonah though. This is the first time we've seen those two battling, and the first time we've seen a side-by-side move into
He
that
gets
chicane.
it done, but he
Oh,
again
he hits
gets
the wall,
sideways
he hits the wall.
out of the corner. I don't think he did hit the wall. I think he just got a bit sideways, but it allows Jonah to come back at him. But he has got the inside line on this corner. Who's going to get the better exit? It looks like Jonah's done it
Yeah,
with the
so-
soft tyres. Yeah, he's got himself ahead again, and he's got DRS Jonah as well. So that's very unfortunate there. I think McKenna made the route just a little too early.
Icewind is here. He wants those positions.
And Icewind again looking for the scraps. Yeah.
4 tenths behind. And these are podium positions.
Jason gets a little sideways in the first corner there. Legend still sniffing about. What are the battles? We've got Sonny's closed in on Nico Rosbot now, and there could be a fight there for P6.
Icewind having a look on McKenna. We've got a yellow in sector 1. Who's that for? That's for Adam. We're getting quite a few spins in the later part of the race. We've got another spin. And who's that for? That's for Icewind! Icewind's around!
Icewind,
in the
man,
other
no.
Alfa Romeo! And it looks like there's no damage there, so he can continue going. He just needs to stop the tyres from overheating. And there's a Ferrari around at the exit of the final corner, and he's got no front wing damage, does Wimpy. He's got no damage.
No front wing. Oh no, Wimpy's. It's maybe the commentator's curse there from me, because I was saying he was having a good recovery drive. He was up in the 12th position. He was up a fair few positions, and then not long after, something bad happens. Twice in a row, unfortunately, because he did have to pit early. I think after it got dry, he did have to pit, have an extra pit stop compared to everybody else as well.
Yeah, so unfortunately.
Yeah, so this is now going to be Wimpy's 4th stop of the race.
Yeah, 3 drivers spinning in 1 lap. So unfortunate there. But
Legend
we're
again, very
gonna
close
get-
to Jason, but it doesn't look like he's struggling to get past Jason this race, I have to say.
Yep, I'm looking at them now as they make their way through the first chicane.
Legend
Legend goes
just cuts
straight
it.
on.
I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe he thought he was going to lose the car if he yeeted it as hard as he was going to have to,
Ooh,
but
almost running
he
at the
locks
back
up
of
and
that
almost
last
hits the
once
back.
again.
Oh, I'm wondering what's going on here. Is this the tyres falling?
Could be the tyres falling wrong. I think he might have cut out there. Kebab?
I've cut out, have I?
Yeah, it sounded like for me you had. Maybe not on the stream.
Alright.
I can hear you now.
We're on the final, as we come into the final lap anyway. If you can hear me fine, yeah?
Yeah, you're all good.
Okay.
Sonny's going to have a go on Nico Rosbot. It's 3 wide for the Haas, Ferrari and Red Bull. It's now turned into 2 wide. with Sonny, and Satoshi gets 2 in a 1 corner. So Sonny not
Sonny's
losing
now
any
looking at
positions.
Satoshi as well. So Satoshi's done very well there to get to take 2 into the 1 corner. I missed that, but very much looking forward to seeing that in a replay. As
Oh, Legend. He needs to get a good exit up this final corner. He's got no overtake. Yes, that's McKenna's 4th penalty, I believe. Jason locks up a bit. That could be the ticket for Legend. Legend needs to go up the inside or do something in this final
I don't
chicane.
think he's going to be close enough, but he's using everything he's got, and
He's
so
got
is Jason.
no
They've both run out of ERS. So I think this is
As they
Jason's
come round
to lose,
final
really,
corner.
and he's going to make it clean. Yep.
DRS open. It's going to be
As
SLR
Jason wins the Canadian Grand Prix by 0.3 of a second. Such a tight race, so close.
Yep.
As we got the rest of the drivers coming in, we'll see how the penalties are going to affect things.
Yep,
As it looks like Jonas picked up the podium.
Yep, it looks like it. Pemi puts himself up in a P5.
Jumps quite a few positions. He must have had a very clean
Something's
race.
happened to Fox at the final corner, so that's unfortunate for him. Ron is in P11. Fox comes up on P12.
Larson jumps quite a bit. Another a clean race from Larson as well. So
that is the Canadian Grand Prix.
and the game gives driver of the day to Icewind.
I can't say I disagree.
I can't entirely disagree, but I think there are definitely some people that are worth mentioning as well. I think Ronks with his recovery drive. I think did he get into the points in the end?
No, he finished P13. So that
okay,
is
so
great.
maybe if he'd got into the points, he would have been a big contender after his horror show in the early laps. But I think Polar Hayes also had a great one, but again lost it just like Icewind did. Icewind gets the fastest lap as well.
Yeah, so
I honestly think we've barely mentioned him the entire race. I don't think I mentioned him once, but Pemi has gone from 13th to 5th on the grid with only 1 penalty, and he jumped quite a few spots because of that penalty. Because I think he was only in 8th or 9th or something like that kind of thing, and he jumped quite a bit. So I think I've got to give it to either Icewind or Pemi, and I think Pemi edges it for me because I think we've he really went under the radar in that race.
well, I'm gonna give mine to Icewind. He was fighting for the podium in the end, but unfortunately that mistake cost him. But we'll move on. We'll switch over to the interview screen. That is not the right one. I'll go back over that. We are gonna get some drivers in for the interviews.
Let's see. Also, put it out to chat as well, and ask chat what they think, who they think is their driver of the day, since we can't decide.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to do it. No one is in the lounge unless Beam Me Up is now the official commentators lounge. We'll just.
So we've got Icewind, Jonah, and Sonny ready there waiting for interview. So let's bring in Sonny because he's had a very good race there.
Yeah, we'll bring him in.
Hello, Sonny.
Hello.
Hello.
Very nice race for you today, I think. Kept things clean and did well to gain a couple of positions, and could have been pointing for a podium at some stages there, maybe, but wasn't to be. What were your thoughts?
I mean, quality could be better because there was some positions to gain, and I just didn't manage to put a lap together. But in the race, I knew that eventually it's gonna dry out, so it was, I mean, maybe not a gamble. The setup just stayed with the normal setup because I had some practice driving in the wets in the previous league race. So I think that was quite helpful to understand like how to drive in wet on this track was a good practice. So in the wet I managed to stay out and pit, I think, at the perfect timing to gain some time, and I think this was the biggest factor in the race, that's pitting in the perfect moment.
Yeah, and with the pitting at the dries, you were the first to go to pit on the dries, and everybody else followed you. And it seemed to be a stroke of genius, that call, because you definitely gained positions after that. But at the same time, Nico Rosberg seemed to get the better of you as he came out there. What happened there? Did you make him or...
No, I struggled a bit when after leaving the pits. That I didn't feel confidence in the car for first few laps. I knew that mediums are faster than the inters, that this is a perfect timing to pit, but I didn't. It was like this dry, wet conditions, so wasn't quite confident that like I was probably putting less throttle than I could, because your muscle memory when you are driving in the wets for 20 laps is completely different. And I was just leaving some time on the table, and when I realized there is driver next to me on the same time going faster, it gave me some confidence to catch up to him. And eventually, even when I got damage, I managed to overtook him. But it was quite unlucky because I was defending from Satoshi, and he somehow managed to benefit from us two fighting and just squeeze in ahead of me. And I was hoping to get this one more position and to be ahead of Satoshi. But yeah, he made a very good move to overtake both of us, actually.
So we saw that on the stream. It was a very impressive move. Very impressive move from Satoshi there.
Yeah, and I think like when I was moving, making the move on Nico, I thought that I will just take really slow corner. I broke that so he can take the normal line, but I think he was a bit scared of taking normal line, and I think this was exactly the purpose of the move, to leave him just enough room. But it was basically, I think, a prisoner dilemma, that whoever first has no bravery to do the move will lose out on it, and I think he decided to cut the track when he had enough space to make the move. So I also benefited from that, but in the end I didn't gain or lose anything. I gained one position, lost one, so it's just lucky that it didn't end up worse.
Good. Yeah, definitely. But it was a very clean race overall today. Not a great deal of incidents. Some very hard racing, even in the wet, from some drivers. What do you think it was about your driving? Did you just purposefully in the wet try and keep it as clean as possible and avoid other drivers?
I mean, yeah, in the wet it was a bit odd because at the same time there were few cars spinning ahead of me when I had to avoid them. But the benefits of driving in the wet is that when you are free air, you can always catch up to the car ahead, and when you have one bad corner and someone is overtaking you, it's so easy to defend because the exits you have so much better traction. It's like you don't need to worry as much about losing or gaining positions. You just need to stay alive, and this was my approach.
The same with me when I was driving. But at some points there, that's another 7th position for you. You seem to be making that position your own in the championship. You finished there twice now. But what about what are you thinking for France next week? Are you confident?
I'm skipping France next week, so I won't be racing next week. So on to another adventure. So
right, that's probably enough questions for you. I'll let you get on with your evening, and we'll get somebody else in for it. Any questions for Sonny at all, really?
No, it's answered all of those, so thanks for joining us in the commentators booth. We'll put you up into the beam me up.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem, we'll put you back in there. Have a good night. We've got Icewind and Jonah to bring in.
I'll bring in Icewind now, yeah?
So Icewind had a good race up until that spin that cost him, and he's gone instantly, so he does not want to be
That was my fault, sorry.
And he's back.
I was trying to move him at the same time you moved him, so it all went a bit pear-shaped. Anyway.
Well, you had a good race, I spin up until that spin.
Yes, but first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to point a couple of comments at Timo and Nesluke, who always say that I will just run away in tier 2, right? So it didn't quite happen that way. Anyway, yeah, I had a lot of fun. First of all, the quali thing was a total weird mistake. I just lit up the rear out of the final corner and like touched the wall and the wheel came off and I was like, okay. But yeah.
That's always a possibility.
It was a very strange one, but yeah, starting at the back, I got a lot of racing in. It was more or less impossible to overtake in the wet, but nevertheless, it was still.
You seem to manage it okay, 5 positions in the first lap.
Yeah, but that was more like people destroying their cars and stuff like that, so I didn't really overtake them in that sense. But yeah.
Personally, I think those count. These definitely count. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'd never overtake anybody if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, and then it was basically just trying to time those tire swaps right from wets to inters, and then from inters to dries, which both went pretty good for me, I guess. And then I had a lot of clean air in the dry, and I was catching up to the leaders, but then like 3 laps from the end or whatever it was, I just spun out of the second chicane.
All the spin there, you were making up quite a bit of time on at the leaders. Were you thinking about a podium at that stage, or were you just thinking about the next car in front of you, or just keeping it clean?
I was just more or less trying to get it to the finish because I had 9 seconds of penalty, so I thought that I'm probably not gonna get a podium with that anyway. So it's just tier 2 guys don't really have to worry, but it's sort of a one-off thing for me to race today because I think I probably am not home in time for tomorrow's race, so it was my one race this week in tier 2, and yeah, it was fun.
Oh, so we'll see you on Saturday then.
I'm not sure if I'm home tomorrow in time. We'll see.
Oh, it'll be nice to see you there as well. The crown jewel of tier 1. I don't have any questions. Do you, Kebab?
Just one more. Just given that you obviously had that error in qualifying, what would have been your prediction of where you would have finished had you qualified?
That's too much what if for me. I don't know.
I mean, where do you think
I
you
could
would
have
qualified? Then?
and spun on the first lap or something as well. So it's I don't know. It's difficult to say. I think some people, the leaders were very, very fast in the wet. At least I was, especially in the wet tires, I was struggling quite a bit. But
yeah, I think I drove in the wet myself at Canada, but I don't think it was full wet. It was only ever intermediate, really, kind of thing. Although I did a full wet qualifying, and that was tricky.
It was very, very understeer in the full wets today. So yeah.
Right. We'll let you go then, Icewind, and we'll get talk to Jonah next.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy your evening.
Likewise.
Come off with some unfortunately. We got Jonah in next. He'll be our final interview of the day. Jonah rounded out the podium today. Just walk us through your race, Jonah, and how it went.
Hello. Sorry, I didn't hear the first thing you said. You were cut out for me.
Oh, I was just saying how you took the last step of the podium and just walk us through your race.
Oh, well, I had a decent quali, close to pole. I didn't know how my setup would work in the race because in the rain because I just took my normal setup with a bit of front wing, more front wing. I mean, it worked pretty well. I took the gamble when the safety car came out to lose 2 positions and no inters. Yeah, I mean, basically didn't lose me anything or gain me anything at the end of it, and then I knew I could make the softs last, so I pitted for softs, which was probably the right decision. But I picked up front wing damage pretty quick, and from that on, it was just trying to stay alive and keep the guys behind, basically.
So how much of an effect did that front wing damage have on the car, do you, in your opinion?
it was yellow on the left side.
it-
I think it was.
Just the front end plate that was missing from our point of view, but I kind of asking you, was it really Was it really slowing you down, that damage?
I mean, it was definitely slowing me down, but the only thing that saved me basically was that I went onto the softs, which had more grip, so it was easier for me to go through the corners, even without front wing. I think if I would have gone on mediums as well, I wouldn't have managed to hold McKenna behind. That's for sure.
Yeah, McKenna was really pushing you at the end there.
Yeah.
How difficult was that to keep him behind, and how conscious of you were about where you were of the penalty?
I knew that he had like 9 seconds, and then I had 9 seconds as well. So I just tried to keep him behind basically, as long as I could stay in the DRS of the front two guys. That worked pretty well, and after that it was just trying to use all overtake out of the corner so he isn't close enough on the straight. And as soon as he picked up the 12 seconds, I was just like, okay, push, but don't push too hard, because I was also on 2 warnings, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Penalties are extremely difficult around this track. I think every tier is finding that out, because not many people go penalty free here.
I think what really saved me was that he just tried everything, and he often lost his rear outside out of the corner, which gave me an advantage on the straight. So I think that's what saved me from his overtakes.
But definitely some impressive racing earlier on in the race when you were battling for the lead and for second in the top 3 kind of thing. But obviously once you got the damage, you were no longer part of that battle. But those battles were very entertaining to watch. Some excellent racing there.
Thank you.
Given that obviously you've come into this as a reserve, are you hoping to stake a claim for a permanency for this league, or are you thinking maybe to go to tier 1? Do you race with any assists at all?
Yeah, I'm racing with the Rainbow Snake.
The Rainbow line, okay. So
currently I race tier 3 because of just the time.
Mhm.
And I tried to race tier 2 today to figure out if I have enough time for another race, because I have another race in half an hour. So that should work out. So I'm probably gonna switch from tier 3 to tier 2 if it's possible, because I feel like it's not fair for me to race in tier 3, considering my pace.
I think your pace is definitely out of tier 3 bounds at the moment, considering yesterday. But you definitely fit in nicely in tier 2. And we look forward to seeing you battle there again. But I'll let you go for the time being, because obviously you've got time constraints with another race coming up. Good luck.
Commentating.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alright,
See you next week, I guess.
yeah.
Take care.
I'll put you back
Goodbye.
into Vimeo. I think that's all the interviews we have for today. So thank you for joining us in the SLR Tier 2 race. I think I'll put the intro now. So from me and Kebab, goodbye.
Ta-ta.